What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back. I'm doing my last MLB Power Rankings, but this time it'll be the postseason. All 12 teams will be ranked here. But before I get into it, hit that subscribe button, get it to 200, where we'll be doing the autographed item giveaway. It could be one of these autographed jerseys, could be some autographed cards or a poster. To be entered, just got to be subscribed, and I'll let you know guys know who wins. But we'll start here at 12 with the Tampa Bay Rays. They could have been higher, but the concern in the last few weeks made me drop them down here. 4-12 in the last 16, and the bats have been a big question mark. They're about average, middle of the league, and you can't have that in the postseason. But the staff makes up for it. They're a very good pitching staff, and they're getting Glass now back for game 2. They could pull off the upset in Cleveland, but it will for sure be a pitching matchup. 11, we have the Phillies. They are the 6th seed. They almost gave it up to the Brewers. They just really didn't want it at the end of the year. They went 7-13 in their last 20 to close out. I don't think it'll be a close series. I think this will be one of the blowout series, in my opinion. I think the Cardinals really get to them. But this pitching, the staff is good. The starting pitching staff is good, but the bullpen is the worst bullpen in the playoffs in terms of ERA with a 4.27, and no one has over 4. The next closest is Toronto or San Diego with 3.73. So big drastic change there. But these Phillies, if they can hit some home runs, then you never know. The series can change. 10, we have those Padres who have the second worst bullpen. And I think this team could still play a little bit of sleeper here against the Mets. They are going to go against DeGrom and Scherzer. Obviously, that's, not a great matchup. But they have some hitters on that team that, can fare well with that starting pitching staff and possibly Diaz to close it out. But I just don't see that happening. It's hard to bet against DeGrom and Scherzer when both healthy, back-to-back nights as well. But, stranger things can happen in baseball. If they do get one, then possibly they could get game 3, and it'll be very interesting to see if that happens. At 9, we have the dark horse, my AL champion, the Seattle Mariners. And this team, they finally got to the postseason since 2001. It's been a while. Well, why not end one drought and make it 2 droughts? They've never made a World Series, and why can't they do it this year? They play in Toronto, and if they get that, more than likely, they will be playing against the Astros, who they've seen a lot. And I think that plays to their advantage, but also disadvantage. Pitching-wise, hitting-wise, it's a little tough. But the staff, I think, is a very underrated staff in this postseason, with Castillo, Gilbert, and Robbie Ray not getting enough credit out there out west. If they can get the bats rolling and Julio Rodriguez is fully healthy, this Mariners team could be making a late run. 8, we have the Blue Jays, who are facing the Mariners at home. Hopefully this team will be fully healthy for Friday, as Gurriel and Espinal are supposed to be back on Friday for the first game. But Nate Pearson, he's scheduled for game 2. He hasn't pitched at all this year, but he will be back in that series, so it'll be a new look for everybody. So they're really depending on him. And the big question mark for them is Kevin Gausman. Will he be able to pitch game 3? He has a little cut on his finger that he got removed from last week's start. He threw a bullpen today. Hopefully it'll be good for him. And if they need him for game 3, he could possibly be getting the call. 7, we have the Guardians, the surprise team, I think, out of all these teams here in the playoffs this year. They did it by winning the division, not a wild card, really sticking it to all the AL Central teams. And they got hot at the right time. They're 24-6 in their last 30. And they get Tampa at home, which I think is very beneficial to them. You don't have to go to the Trop and, try to find the ball. But this team has a really good pitching staff with a 3.46 ERA, 6th best in the MLB. And they are looking to end their World Series drought. Last time they've won one, 73 years ago. They have the longest one in the MLB. Can they get that done this year? Possibly. But, the AL with Astros and Yankees ahead of them is pretty hard to do. And they would need, pretty much both of them to lose to get the advantage in the AL championship if that were to happen. 6, we have the St. Louis Cardinals. They're the 3 seed in the NL. They won the Central, and they play the Phillies in the first round. 6-9 in the last 15. They kind of coasted into the postseason, but don't let that stat just write off the Cardinals already. They got Jordan Montgomery at the deadline, and he's looked awesome. Pujols, he hit his 700th. I think he's at 703 now. And will he finish his career with a ring along with Yachty and Adam Wainwright? So that's the biggest storyline for the Cardinals, I think, this postseason, the last games of those 3. And, maybe they win it all, go out on a high note. But personally, I just can't see it happening with all the talent because their the elite teams, but they're not the top pedestal of teams right now. Starting off those top pedestal of teams, we got the Mets, and they blew the division. They had the shirts made, already selling them, and well, they lost to the Braves. They tied the division, but lost the tiebreak because they, lost all the games to them. And I just don't know about this Mets team. We see it time and time again where normally this team chokes like really hard and doesn't get in, but they have over 100 wins this year and well deserving. They did their part to get in. Starling Marte, will he be back for the postseason? Hopefully he should be back. For the Padres facing DeGrom and Scherzer, good luck. And then you got Diaz to close it out at the worst case. This Mets team, they're a good hitting team. They got to the batting title winner with Jeff McNeil. And obviously Pete Alonso's been good. Lindor's heating up. This team could be a scary team if they win this round and then match up with, let's say, the Dodgers. They could challenge them. At 4, we have the Braves, who won that NL East, and they're just waiting on these wild card games to get over to see who they'll play. They would be the first time to repeat since the 98 to 2000 Yankees as they three-peat. But the Braves, they look better than last year, in my opinion, even without Freddie Freeman. They got rid of him, let him walk, which they shouldn't have done because the agent, whatever. And they brought in Matt Olson. Michael Harris has been a stud. Spencer Strider's been a stud. The list goes on and on and on. Acuna's been good. Swanson's been good. Riley's had his moments. Albies, the unfortunate, injury bug for the whole year, but they figured it out time and time again. This Braves team is probably one of the most solid teams this year that's been healthy. And I like that going in the postseason. They have that chemistry and everything. We got to check back in a few weeks here, see how this Braves team is doing. 3, we have the Yankees. Obviously, the big storyline here is Aaron Judge setting the AL home run record with 62 home runs. Some people are like, oh, it's the real one because no steroids versus Barry Bonds and that whole controversy, whatever. It doesn't matter. This team is playing for a World Series, not individual records. And that's what I think the Yankees can't get too caught up in, because now that's over. It doesn't matter how many he hits. The regular season's over, and now it all comes down to the postseason, where the Yankees have had their struggles as of late. It's been a while since they won a title. At 2, we have the Houston Astros, and with 106 wins, it's hard to not put them at least in the top 3. They're 11-5 in their last 16. Verlander has been amazing this year with 1.75 ERA, which led the MLB. And Framber Valdez set the MLB record with 27 quality starts this year. So the rotation's been great. And obviously they still have Alex Bregman, and their team is pretty solid. They got Altuve as well too. Alvarez been hitting the ball well, and I think you're gonna get some key contribution from the bottom of the order, which the Astros seem to do every single year, and that's what makes this team so good. Net 1, we have the Dodgers with 111 wins this year. They can't not be the number 1 seed, right? Well, they are. And they're the first time being 60 games over 500 in franchise history. They found another mark to beat this year. But the one thing that concerns me, they're 8-8 in their last 16. It could be because they know everything's going good. But you want to go in the playoff with some momentum. I mean, it's not a losing record in the last 16, but it's not the best. And I think the only thing that really could hurt this team is the bullpen in the late innings. We've seen Craig Kimbrell be very shaky this year, blow some saves. And if he can figure that out, right the ship, this Dodgers team is looking for a very good run to the World Series. But that's going to be it for the video today. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to our channel to be entered into our giveaway. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.